Talk about this. Joining me right here is CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson for more on this. I mean, those victim impact statements, and I watched a lot of them yesterday. Wow. You expect them always, Joey, to be very painful and emotional, but they took a turn at one point when they turned that lectern and the podium, hearing from Kaylee's sister, from tears to just rage.
Yeah, they did, Kate. Good morning to you. And that's certainly anticipated. You have a number of families, certainly families having different views, different emotions, some believing the matter should have gone forward and the death penalty should have been sought. Others perhaps buying into this, some families expressing the notion that this DA should not have entered the deal, and in fact you should have included us more. But you know, it puts a face on the system. We talk about different deaths, we talk about different issues, but there's a face and there's a life story and there's meaning. And we heard it there, you know, one of the victim impact statements. Something that really struck me was Ben Mogan, Madison Mogan's dad, who was talking about the last Father's Day card, talking about she was the most important accomplishment of his life, the pride and joy. They're meaningful, it's impactful, and so how the system deals with it is very important. And yesterday, of course, Kate, was the day for the families to talk about who the victims were, what they meant to their friends, family, the world, and how they were just ripped apart from their life. And so just emotional, compelling, and just gut-wrenching moments.
But important for them to be able to have their say, though they will never find the closure that they deserve. What do you make of these new details? And there was a lot of it coming out in these police documents that were released. But clearly it's unsatisfying to the families because it leaves, because there was no trial, because he did not ever speak, there is so many unanswered questions that in a lot of those victim impact statements, they ask the questions that they would like him to answer.
Yeah.
Does what came out from these police documents, does it reveal anything of the case that was there that was building against this man?
So I think so, Kate. And there's a couple of things, right, to take from this. The first thing is that certainly it gives credit to the notion of perhaps if there was a trial, right, on the one hand, you would learn a lot more about the trial. Certainly it would put the families through a lot with respect to the graphic nature and detail, right, pink blankets and how they're covered in blood, right, one of the victims being unrecognizable. You spoke about the 50 stab wounds. Wow, many of them defensive. And so I think the course of the trial, on the one hand, would have put families through so much, but perhaps they would have learned more about motivations, about details, about other things. But at the end of the day, you know, the case is wrapped up. And as the judge noted, unspeakable act of evil. His 15 minutes of fame are done, and he gets 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for what's done. And what was really interesting to me, Kate, also was there being no connection to the victims at all, right? Sometimes you have a situation where a person has an axe to grind, there's a prior history, maybe envy, jealousy, something else. Here, just where is the connection? And then you learn so much about who he was in jail, him washing his hands all day, dozens of times.
Hours in the shower.
Yeah, just some things are just unexplainable.
Yeah. Thank you, Joey.